You have watched the why video, so you know the income gap is real and that your expertise is a financial asset. You watched the what video, so you know how to identify what the market will pay for and how to position it. Now the question is, how do you actually execute? What do you charge? How do you find your first client? What tools do you actually need? What financial systems do you put in place before any money moves? Hi, I'm Curt Roese, CPA, former CFO. I've been building Retirepreneur in real time since last August, and everything in this video is the same framework that I use to launch my own second act. Here's what most people get wrong at this stage. They spend the first 3 months building infrastructure before they have a single client. Website, CRM, course platform, logo. None of that produces revenue. And I should know because I made some of these same mistakes. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 4 things in sequence. How to make your first move based on your delivery model. How to set a rate that reflects the value you deliver, not the salary mindset you are leaving behind. How to find your first client without cold outreach. And what financial systems to have in place before work begins. I call this the lean launch framework. Let's get into it. Before we get into execution, let me put the market opportunity on the table. The U.S. management consulting market reached $59 billion in 2024 and is projected to hit $82 billion by 2029. The business coaching sector hit $20 billion in the same period. These are not niche markets. They are established, growing industries with consistent demand for exactly the kind of expertise you have spent 30 years building. The question is not whether the market exists, it is how to position yourself within it and build a real business around it. This is the third video in the Why, What, How series. Video 1 covered the why, the income gap, expertise as a financial asset, and the case for building. Video 2 covered the what, how to identify marketable expertise, niche positioning, and delivery model selection. This video covers 4 execution questions every second act builder needs to answer before taking a first client. What to charge, how to find the client, what tools you actually need, and what financial systems to put in place. Your delivery model determines your first move, and the first move is different for each model. If you're consulting, your first move is to define one specific offer and draft an engagement letter, not a website, one problem, one audience, one outcome, and a document that makes the engagement official. If you're coaching, your first move is to build your session framework before you take a single discovery call. Clients hire coaches for the process, not just the person. Know what you're delivering in session 1 before you schedule that call. If you're building a course, cohort, or community, your first move is to validate demand before you build content. Self-founding cohort access first. If people pay, you have validated demand and funded your production. If they do not, you have saved months of building the wrong thing. Infrastructure follows revenue. It does not precede it. The reason most second act professionals underprice their work comes down to one thing, the salary mindset. As an employee, you are paid for time. Fixed rate, employer sets the number. As an independent professional, you are paid for outcomes. You set the rate. The value you deliver determines the ceiling. Those are 2 different economic models. Pricing them the same way leaves significant income on the table every time. Consulting success research shows that experienced specialists with 15 or more years of domain expertise regularly command $175 to $325 per hour. And consultants who use value-based or project-based pricing reach $10,000 plus engagements and more than twice the rate of hourly billers. The professionals who undercharge most consistently are the ones who have never had to name a price before. That changes after the first conversation. Here's how to set your rate without guessing. Start with 3 data points. The floor rate is what you need to cover your monthly baseline. This is your minimum, not your target. The market rate is what peers with similar experience and specialization are charging. Research 3 comparable consultants and treat that as an anchor, not a ceiling. The value rate is what the outcome is worth to the client. A CFO who saves a company $200,000 in tax exposure is not worth $150 per hour. He is worth a lot more. Your rate should sit between market and value. 30 years of domain expertise justifies a rate at or above mid-market from the first engagement. The professionals who undercharge most are the ones who have never had to name a price before. So name it. Here's the data point that matters most for finding your first client. More than 50% of first consulting clients come from former colleagues or existing professional contacts. Across independent consultants broadly, roughly 60% of first clients originate from warm referrals. Cold outreach rarely produces a first client for a second act builder. The warm network almost always moves faster. The people who already know your work are your first pipeline. Start there before you spend $1 on marketing. Here is the exact sequence. Step 1. List 10 to 15 people who have seen your expertise firsthand. Former colleagues, bosses, direct reports, vendors, and professional contacts. Step 2. Reach out to inform, not to sell. Something like, I'm now working with a select number of clients on a specific problem. Wanted you to know in case you hear of anyone. That is it. No pitch. Step 3. Ask for one name, not for business. Do you know anyone dealing with a specific problem right now? One name is an easier yes than a referral to yourself. Step 4. Follow up with a narrow ask. A 20-minute call to understand their situation is a much easier yes than a proposal. So start there. One of the most common objections I hear is that starting a business costs too much. The data does not support that. MBO Partners research shows that a lean one-person consulting or coaching launch typically runs between $100 and $1,000 for essential startup costs. Business registration runs maybe $50 to $500 depending on your state, and you do not need an LLC before your first client. Business bank account is free at most banks or at a minimum very low cost. Liability insurance runs maybe $200 to $500 per year. And scheduling with Calendly, can't pronounce that, video conferencing with Zoom, and invoicing and accounting with Wave are all free at the tier you need to start. The engagement letter is a one-time attorney review you use repeatedly. That is a fully functional professional operation for under $1,000. 4 tools are all you need to run a professional consulting or coaching operation at launch. Calendly free tier handles all your scheduling. Zoom free tier covers all your clients' calls and discovery session. Wave handles invoicing and accounting at no cost and produces fully professional output. And an engagement letter reviewed once by an attorney and used repeatedly protects both parties on every project. That is under $50 per month and often free for the first several months. Add a website, CRM, and expand a platform when your revenue justifies the cost. The lean start is not a compromise, it is the smarter path. 4 financial steps in this order before any money moves. First, open a separate business bank account. Every dollar in and out of the business runs through this account from day one. Mixing personal and business finances creates tax problems, accounting problems, and credibility problems simultaneously. This is the single most important step before you take a first client. Second, set up basic invoicing, Wave, QuickBooks, or a simple template. You need to send a professional invoice before work begins, not after. Third, draft an engagement letter. It defines scope, timeline, deliverables, and payment terms. Handshake deals feel efficient at the start. Written agreements prevent the conversation you do not want to have at the project end. Fourth, plan for estimated taxes. As a self-employed professional, quarterly estimated taxes are required. One appointment with a CPA sets this up correctly and saves you from a significant surprise at year end. The most common reason second act builders delay their first client conversations is that they are building infrastructure they do not need yet. 3 mistakes I see consistently: building a full website before landing a first client, subscribing to a CRM before there are enough contacts to even manage, purchasing a course platform before a single student has enrolled. A LinkedIn profile and a 1-page offer document will land your first client faster than a 6-page website ever will. Stay lean until the business earns the next layer of infrastructure. Before you take your first client, 4 items. That is it. Delivery model selected, consulting, coaching, or course, cohort, or community. Specific offer defined, 1 problem, 1 audience, 1 outcome. Pricing anchor set, floor rate, market rate, and value rate identified. Financial foundation in place. Business bank account open, invoicing active, engagement letter. Everything else, the website, the CRM, the course platform, can be built after the first client pays. This 3-video series has covered the full path. The why, the income gap, expertise as a financial asset in the case for building. The what, identifying marketable expertise, niche positioning, and delivery model selection. And the how, pricing, client acquisition tools, and financial systems. Kaufman Foundation data confirms that the 55 to 64 age group is one of the fastest growing new entrepreneur segments in the country. Your expertise is already built. The execution is learnable. Subscribe to Retirepreneur on YouTube so you do not miss what comes next. The single most important thing from this video is the sequence. The delivery model first, specific offer second, pricing anchor third, financial foundation fourth. Then one conversation with someone who already knows your work. That is the complete launch sequence. Not a website, not a logo, not a course platform, one offer, one client, one project that generates real feedback. Everything else follows from the first dollar of revenue. The Hub has model-specific execution guides for consulting, coaching, and course and cohort and community businesses. It's free, no credit card required. Link is in the description. All 3 videos in this series are now live. Start with the why if someone in your network is still asking whether they should build. Send them that one. Keep building.